Hello, this is Kurt Brown, also known as Saint Rambone. I'll make this video titled "In Light of Things," a bit like Andy Rooney. In light of things, meaning in light of psychops, psychological operations, in the history of life as we have known it, and as we were told. In the psychological operations would allow for, at least in our era, would be the stunning of the brain and injection of chemicals to make you forget things and things of that nature. You could also have chains of command stripped from governments and various means such as that, with collusion, meaning people cheating the system, bribery, and basically sabotage and saboteur type things. Psychops. I believe the nuclear bombs of 1945 dropped in Japan were because of psychops. You would have to be insane to drop nuclear bombs in the Pacific Ocean because the wind blows from Japan straight to the Americas. So there you have it. Psychops dropped the nuclear bombs on Japan. This is how far this goes back. Of course, they could have had a break in the chain of command. There's ways to do it without having to use psychops, and that's all it takes. Anybody that would use radiation on a fellow man is lower than a dog. And I mean that in a parasitical fashion. So, now, psychops moving forward. So many wars, so many places, nuclear bombs, people placed in the vicinity of those bombs. Mainly Americans, mainly many of Italian descent for some reason. Maybe so many Italians or whatever, but there's also the Irishmen, the English, and whoever, the African Americans, all of us who were in the military, who were subjected to radiation and psychological operations. Psychops. In 1983, on the USS Reed FFG-30, we basically had a psychops operation against our vessel. In my opinion, our missiles went haywire and everyone went AWOL in the vessel, excluding myself. I stayed for the sequelae. That would be the following week when I was exposed to radiation. Psychops on the way to get to the nuclear explosion area off the California coast in 1983 while on the USS Reed FFG-30. Late 1983, we were on the way to the nuclear area and that direct path, and a vessel was in our way. It was a British tender, according to the captain, with equipment brought up from a submarine. However, the week before, the captain had said a ship that was behind ours was British, and someone from Combat Information Control said it was Russian. The days of war games. They left me with a stroke and my memory knocked out for years. Psychops, that was 1983, that was hit. 1987, I was told I had a brother that I should go join. It was my father, he told me. It was Kurt Cobain of Nirvana. He wanted me to go join him. He's my half-blood brother, according to my father. I'm going to try to get my DNA compared, since my memory just came back in 2015, but don't count on it. On a government run over by various hostile factions, including the money factions, who were corrupt and involved in psychops operations and likely stealing our wills, inheritances, and such. Because in 1994, I had a phone call from my mother to come visit her. She said she had something urgent to tell me. When I got there, we were jumped. I believe they had a machine that would stun us, similar to what I saw in 1983. Psychops. After they gave me the stunning, I believe they injected me with chemicals. I somehow escaped on that day in late 1994, drove across town, and I am not sure if other things happened there at my house. However, I know my car was not parked in the place it was supposed to be. It was on the grass, and someone had actually mentioned I had about $4 million or something to go pick up, and I should go with them. Maybe they were going to finish the job on me. I was told it was 40 or 400 million, if I remember correctly. That was on the day that my mother and I were hit. Okay, moving forward on psych ops and putting a light over your head. I'm going to have you sing carol in a bit. Sing carol, yes. Psych ops. In 1999, I went to work for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation as a bank examiner in the Sacramento office of the FDIC with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. I was in Roseville in a subdivision outlying Sacramento. My boss's subdivision was almost detonated with fuel. There's some question whether the fuel line actually leaked or a bomb went off on a fuel line above his house. The entire subdivision had to be evacuated. The pipeline ran from Reno to Rocklin, California, Reno, Nevada to Rocklin, California. And it was a fuel pipeline that erupted. Some people say it was a bomb. I don't know. Some people say it was a leak. I know if it would have been lit, it would have been a leak. However, when my boss, who happened to live in that subdivision, my immediate boss, came to the office, they made him sit over on one side of this huge office by himself with his little privacy cubicle facing so that he could not see us and we could not see him. Then there was another office facing his door where he could escape to or be taken into by his heels. And I did not like that situation because my boss and I were involved in multi-billion-dollar banking transactions that involve the federal government. It makes me very freaking nervous. Considering the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation bank examiner had his head blown off in 1992, circa that period, the FDIC Improvement Act of 1992. Blew his own head off with his own gun above the FDIC up on the top floor. It must be depressing being at the top of a government corporation with billions of freaking dollars. That was in 1992 that supposedly happened. It was in 1999 that I was there with my boss. I walked over to my boss and I said, "What's be happening, boss?" I turned and looked away from him and he said, "How weird." Now, he said it just in those terms, how weird. Now, what's going on here? Who is this? Why is he telling me this in that strange tainted accent? Or is that a Russian version? British? Who knows? I was worried about my boss. I'm even more worried now because I believe that I was hit with those psych ops operations in 1994. That something happened to my mother, something may have happened to my wife, and something definitely happened to my brother in 1994. I want my DNA checked, you corrupt bastards, because I know you're murdering people for money, and you're doing it out of just you're good at it. If you think about it, you could have a military conquest with psych ops operations warfare weapons. No one would even know you came. Where did my money go? How did I get here? Concerned about the future. I want to put a spaceship into space and leave this planet forevermore. Heaven, 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 knocking at heaven's door. My brother, Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, wrote the song Polly. The song went, Polly wants a cracker, so forth and so on. I rewrote the song because I used to hate being called the name Curtsy when I was a child. There was this kind of a developmentally disabled child who used to call me Curtsy. Curtsy is when someone bows on stage. Curtsy. This is my song to my brother Curtsy, based on the song Polly. Curtsy wants a cracker. He thinks he can shift in grease. I think what he wants is laughter, so he brings in a loose porch crease. Porch in this particular instance is an Indian. And I was thinking in particular, if that is his daughter, Bean Cobain, if that is his daughter, then she would definitely be that loose porch crease. I mean that as no offense. Particularly if that's his daughter. You know, I would never want to insult a man's daughter. I was called ugly names by Kurt Cobain's grandfather. He used to call me Porch Negro in less than polite terms. My mother had nothing to do with him. He would have called probably Kurt Cobain. What would he call Kurt Cobain? Probably Porch Kraut. Oh boy. This is Kurt Brown, also known as Saint Rambone. You can see that song at Mobile Audit Club, found by internet search. Go to Quatrains 1. You can just type in Mobile Audit Club, Quatrains 1. You'll see that page there with my painting for sale. This is Kurt Brown, also known as Saint Rambone. Put the shine that light over your head in a sing carol. Curtsy once a whacker.